Hey everyone, welcome to Drizzlepath Genie. This is the same person who made Drizzlepath. So, I've given it a shot. Seems to have a little more cohesive of a story.
Once upon a time. Isn't that how stories are supposed to begin? That is how my mother always began her stories. But why can't they end that way? Because the ending is usually when the promise of everlasting happiness is proclaimed. What are stories if not the memories of our people? And if memory is any clue, there is no guarantee of happiness. Is it just a myth that there is any such thing as happily ever after? Memory is a broken mirror, fragments of reflective glass and fractures of light, gleaming in brilliance for a moment before fading forever into vague washes of soft color and deepening shade. Sometimes, the harder we try to focus on them, the more they fade and slip from our grasp. Beautiful shards that, when taken all together, make us who we are. Memories or dreams. Sometimes it is impossible to tell the difference.
Alright, I may actually make more than one episode of this game because it seems that the story is a lot more cohesive. The user interface. One moment.
Came to me. He spoke in a foreign voice, a series of strange sounds that formed a single word. In that word was a message that I understood. He said that I had been chosen, and at the same time, cursed. Lula, he said, because of your gifts of both endurance and vision, you have been chosen to retrieve the sacred relic of your people, the Genie.
The user interface is also much better. The saving system is much better. This is a quote from the first game, which we did here, albeit rather messily. The journey of the Kel hero began upon the chickens that swim inside the soft cushions, I believe, in any place near the rising sun, where the Drizzlepath is drawn all the way up to the Mountain of Fire. So just like the original Drizzlepath, we are on a quest to the Mountain of Fire, and I think the author is trying to provide us with a story, provide us with a point, something to think about. So while we are enjoying the graphics, the scenery, the ambiance, we actually also get to enjoy something a little more cohesive and thought-provoking this time. And I do appreciate the growth that the author of these games has shown between one game and the other. This game is very recent. It came out a few days ago, and I decided that both of these games looked pretty and fun enough to give a shot. And from what I can tell so far, I'm impressed by the author's work, their improvements. So as we walk up the hill here, we'll see if my beliefs are well founded. I've only started up this game to see, how it ran. What is that floating up there? Wish I hadn't pointed that out, kinda.
But another wizard, who wants the Genie for himself, has cursed you with the inability to run. Even now he makes his way to the top of the mountain to claim it as his own. You must reach the Genie before him and learn its purpose, its power, for if he takes possession of it, you will be further cursed with the inability to walk. You and your people will never again be free to choose your own path.
And I have gotten this far before, and this is what makes me wonder what the point of this story is going to be, what we're supposed to be looking for.
So make haste, child. Do not tarry. Though the path is long, it is the shortest. Though the path is not easy, it is simple. Though you walk alone, fear not. I will be with you. But you will soon have an important choice that only you can make. And that choice will make all the difference. Thus, I woke to a morning of light drizzle, and under the soft light of early dawn, began to walk towards the Mountain of Fire.
So you can see the artist's vision is definitely very similar to that of the original game, but it's now getting across much better. I completely forgot what I was saying earlier. The ambiance is still quite great in this author's games. I feel like the lighting and shading isn't quite as pretty in this one.
Life in the village has fallen out of balance since the genie disappeared. Before then, we had the freedom to choose our own paths in life. But now they are decreed by the shamans when we come of age. There are hunters and fishers, collectors and keepers, weavers and walkers. Only one path has ever been chosen for each person, until me. The shamans decreed that I am both weaver and walker.
Okay. Still not sure what to make of all this yet. This is a pretty neat little structure here. On our way to the Mountain of Fire. This may end up being 2 or 3 episodes, just depending. Ooh, sliding down the hill there. Much appreciated speed
Weavers
boost.
do not just weave fish baskets and blankets. They are also weavers of words, poets and storytellers. They keep the history of our people and weave their words into the warp and woof of every textile. Walkers are the wanderers and wanderers, the dreamers and askers of questions. They are the seekers of whatever light they may find to illuminate the darkest corners of hearts and minds. Of all that have walked away from the village, none have returned.
So my thinking from this is that you know, this person that weaves stories and wanders, she will make this journey and come back to tell her people of the lesson she learned. That is what I'm thinking is going to happen here. And I think up here in this fork in the road, we have a choice to make. So, do we go with the glowy particles to the right, or do we go under the great imposing ring of death through the trees, the forest of awfulness? You know, it does seem like a funny... Yeah, there's the blue and then there's the red. So do we take the path that looks happy-go-lucky? Or do we take the path that looks difficult? I'm going to say this is a metaphor for life. This entire story is somehow connected like that. We're going to go through the difficult path, the imposing path, and come out with a greater lesson for it. That's what I'm going to say anyway. Wonder what, if anything, that gigantic ring of rocks could mean. So I wonder if the story is slowed down for now. But yeah, like I was saying, the lighting effects seem a lot less impressive in this game than Drizzlepath. But the author may have sacrificed some graphical quality for script performance or just performance overall. Like, I have a very powerful graphics processor, and Drizzlepath was very laggy in some places. And usually, if I get a laggy game, Q or X to what? I'm not sure what it's saying I can do with Q or X. Okay. Usually, if I have a laggy game, it's a sign of an engine problem, not a computer problem on my part. Skyrim, one of my favorite games, like, I love Bethesda games to death, but their game engine is brittle. It's brittle as all get out. I usually get, 45, 60 frames per second in most areas, but every once in a while, thanks to my mods, it'll just tank down to, 30, 25 or lower. So, I thought hardware would solve any and all performance issues, but sometimes the video games just aren't up to spec. But I do think this video game is definitely a proper balance between good detail. A good balance between detail and engine. I think the Unreal Engine has been known to be very good. It does better with indoor environments, though, I think. Okay, so we're walking the path to the mountain of fire. We've been told our supposed purpose in life, but we've also been told by a genie to do something. And there are 2 genies, or 3? Well, oh, no. There are 2 wizards and the genie that we are supposed to get. What could that mean? A genie is magical. It grants wishes, right? So are we trying to get our wish? Are these wishes for our people? Am I reading into this too much? Is the story going to be much simpler? I don't know. That doesn't seem like this author. I am loving this scenery, though. It's still very fantastic. The mountains are much more detailed than in Drizzlepath. In Genie, the mountains do actually look a lot more detailed. They learned a lot from their previous mistakes. It's not just a mound of dirt, you know, jutting out of the ground. It's got uneven rock faces and more detail. So I appreciate the growth from the author. And again, even though this path is slightly more foreboding, the ambiance has me sucked right in. I feel relaxed. And again, that may be because I grew up in the woods and I learned to love it. Either way. I do kind of wish maybe there was some better background sounds. Birds, maybe, the wind through the trees. Or maybe some light background music. Even though Drizzlepath's audio was out of balance, the background music was pretty nice to explore in. And here I am doing my best to provide a lot of commentary in what probably appears to be a pretty boring experience, a very relaxing experience, but it's not going to be the most fun to watch. I'm having fun experiencing it. It's definitely not for everyone, though. But yeah, these games are on Steam if you want to buy them. And oh, what? Red is the color. Oh. Okay, this got more interesting. That's for sure. Those clouds are threatening as hell. What story is being told here? The shortest path is the longest. Whales in the deep. Are horror and beauty the same thing?
I had seen death and wondered what it was. I have been there to hold the dying when the shamans pressed a finger to their mouths and whispered them away. We each imagine something different for them, whatever soothes the heart, but I fear that death is nothing. How can we know? It seems impossible to imagine the end of imagination, to think of the end of thought. The answer to the mystery of death may be in the answer to the mystery of life.
Okay, that's starting to ask some very deep questions. We're getting a lot of very foreboding scenery. I'm loving this. I mean, it could use a little more life, a little more work, but I'm loving what I'm seeing here. Asking about, yeah, maybe this journey really is a representation of life. And the path I chose is definitely going to diverge from the other path. So this may be worth another playthrough just to see how the story did. We've got to explore that. There's no way those red blinking lights can be ignored. Sorry. Squirrel! Not really. Sorry. Not that ADD. Is this another path, maybe? Another divergence? Or is there just something here? Maybe it's pointing out, you know, this is the... Okay. Well, that's oddly disturbing, that open casket right there. I suppose it's a sarcophagus. Yeah, I'm loving this. I wonder how far we have to go. I'm actually pulled in by this game, as simple as it is. I guess it's really just the quest for the answer to what all is going on.
The universe held its breath, as if the gods themselves were waiting for a sign in their long slumber to wake them from dream. The shamans say that the gods fell asleep long ago, before the time of people, when there was nothing but stars in the darkness. In their sleep, they dream the world and us into being. It's a pretty myth, but I wonder if it's true. And if so, what happens when they wake?
So this young woman who has been decreed basically to have a special place in her society is really questioning what her society is about and what life is about. And I suppose this journey must also be a reflection of that. Maybe these are some of her darker thoughts.
I wonder what I will find at the top of the mountain of fire. I have only heard of the genie in stories and have never seen it myself. I feel awe, and with it, more than a little fear. Can there be reverence without fear? Awe without mystery? We seek answers, but resist them when they threaten the notions we feel. Often we prefer to dwell in the dreams of the heart than in the truth of the mind. The genie has power. This much I know.
Well, I'm gonna open this can of worms. I feel like there's a lot of religious undertones going on here. This young woman is saying maybe not all of this is true and we need to be questioning it.
Definitely choose the right
Or maybe that's a
path if I get
reflection.
another chance.
Well, we will in another playthrough, another lifetime. We may actually stop for a while here in a minute.
My mother, though I was only a girl of 8 when she walked away from the village and me forever. I remember that day and have dreamed it many times since. When she came of age, the shamans had decreed that she was a walker. But this brought her great sorrow, because she was certain she was a weaver. She felt cursed. She longed for the return of the genie so she could decide her own path.
Maybe simply by walking away, you have chosen your own path. That's a thought. They could have walked back, right? But they didn't. Maybe the genie is nothing but the power of free choice, having your own will, not letting others dictate what is or isn't, not letting traditions dictate what is or isn't. Or maybe I'm really just showing everyone what my own inner thoughts are by letting this vague story being a springboard for my own thoughts. I don't know. I'm enjoying this. I hope you are too. We are going to have to bring this to a close here shortly, though.
The day she left was a cold and rainy autumn day, before the tall grasses had been harvested. I saw her in her sky blue summer dress, long hair, black as the night, wade far out into the field and then stopped. She gazed upwards into the sky as the wind made her distant figure look like a broken patch of summer sky, fallen to the ground and battered by the breeze. She clutched herself with her arms, and I felt her sadness. I ran to her as fast as I could.
Okay. This is more interesting. I didn't know the mother had left. We will probably get to the top of this hill here and call it a day. Or a video, you know. I want to see all of that. The lighting in Drizzlepath was definitely superior, though. This would be a steep hill to climb. Here we go. This seems like a good spot. Yep. That's how far we've come from way on out there. Those were some cool lightning strikes. All right, everybody. I hope you've had a fantastic time watching this. I know it's not particularly action-y, but I hope it's thought-provoking, relaxing, and fun to see and listen to. So, whatever you're doing out there, I hope you have a great day, and I hope to see you next time.